Hi there, my name is Steve Gerhardt, and this is the Unagi Observer. Thank you so much for stopping by and watching the first episode of 2021. I'm excited that you're here, and I'm excited to actually get the season on to a start. So a couple different things changes, and one of them is going to be when I upload. If you actually subscribe and put the bell on, then you should be notified of my uploads. But if not, then just keep checking back somewhere between Tuesday and Thursday, and an upload should be there. The second major change is that while I am always going to have the focus on anime, manga, conventions, and Asian stuff, pop culture, history, music, all that good stuff, while that is still the main focus of this channel, I'm going to bring other stuff in: science fiction, sword and sorcery, role-playing games, movies, just things I think that might be relevant to this channel and that I think you might enjoy talking about, listening about, whatever. So I hope you enjoy the new stuff that's going to be coming down the pike. Speaking of which, we're going to start with the season with 2 reviews. Okay, the first review is going to be a science fiction novel by, let's see here, Yoon-Ha Lee, called The Ninefox Gambit. We're going to talk more. We're going to talk about that first, and then we're going to talk about the anime that just started back in January. So now I'm a spider. So what? And I can't wait to talk about that one. So let's go ahead and dive in. Okay, so the first review is going to be a science fiction review. A science fiction book review is going to be of Machineries of Empire Book 1, Ninefox Gambit by Yoon-Ha Lee. Okay, so before we get into the book, let's talk a little bit about the author, Yoon-Ha Lee. Yoon-Ha Lee was born a woman, identifies as a man, and so is considered a trans man. But the reason why I even bring this up is simply because in the book you get the sense that gender doesn't really mean anything. So I think that's why. Anyway, he's a very interesting guy. He went to Cornell University, got a degree in mathematics, a secondary degree in secondary mathematics, which means that this guy is pretty darn smart. He does analytics, he teaches IT, he creates software programming. Clearly this guy knows what he's doing. Okay, so his only body of work is actually the trilogy, the Machineries of Empire trilogy, and I think about a handful of short stories, and that's it. The trilogy was nominated for both a Hugo and a Nebula, didn't win either, but he's regarded fairly well as an up-and-coming author. So just kind of wanted to throw that out there, that he's a kind of unique guy, trans man, Korean, and also that's also important because the book is heavy on mathematics, and I'll explain in a moment here. So the book itself, Ninefox Gambit. So basically the premise of the book is based on a government that's called a hierarchy, and they have different caste levels within it that do various functions. They all work together. They all work under a similar calendar. Now, if you know you're older in ancient histories, you understand that calendars have power over people, because if you have a government that can determine what the calendar is, what the day of the week is, what the hour of the day is, what they mean, and what it means to you as an individual, and how that affects you and the government or the empire, whatever it is. Calendars are pretty important because they involve also astrology, numerology, just a whole bunch of different things are involved into it. So if you have an interstellar empire that's governing ability is through the use of a calendar, then that becomes important, and mathematics becomes important. So there's a lot of mathematical probability that has to be thought out and then attached to numerology, astrology, and coming up with meaning. So that's the basis of the empire. The hero or heroine is Kel Cheris. She's the captain in the Kel. The Kel is one of the hierarchies, and she's kind of basically just a foot soldier who's tapped to try and find a solution to deal with a group of people who took over a very powerful fortress that is the nexus of a bunch of star systems and they've created their own calendar, a heretical calendar, if you will. So she's been tapped to deal with this problem. The thing is that while she's kind of brought up some interesting solutions, and she has some mathematical ability, which means that she can do probability attacks on the fly, she really is kind of inexperienced. She's low level. She's not really a general, but they make her a general. So to help her, they bring out Shuo Jurei, who is a guy who has never lost a battle through the entire history of the hierarchy, but he went mad at some point and started killing millions of people at a time. So they killed him, but they kept his essence, and periodically when they need him, they bring out the essence and pair it with a human being so that they can solve whatever the problem is. This is the current problem. So this woman has to not only deal with the problem of the Nexus Fortress, she has to use this insane guy who's going to be living inside her head with her to do it. So that is the premise of the book. It's, like I said, it's very interesting. It's very rich in terms of time, and in terms of looking at time and describing meaning of titles. Like, ships have wonderfully beautiful titles. It's not like the Destroyer or Armageddon or anything like that. It's very Asian, like Black Orchid, as opposed to, like I say, the like Gauntlet of Destruction. So they come up with these names for their ships and stuff like that, and everything has meaning, and mathematics is used. So when you read this book, I'm not saying that you have to know. I'm not saying that you have to know, formulas or anything like that. It's nothing like that. It's just that you have to understand that when they talk about a certain day, it has a meaning. If it's a certain hour, it has a meaning, and that impacts the decisions being made. Because if you make the wrong decision during the wrong hour, you might be executed for it. So that's another thing that she has to worry about. So you get the idea. It sounds like an impossible mission, but it's a really good read. It's a fast read. You might, from time to time, have to flip back a couple pages and just kind of reread what a meaning is and then move forward. So if you are into astrology, numerology, or calendars are your thing, like, the Batman villain, Calendar Man, or whatever his name was, if that's your gig, you're going to love this novel. If mathematics is something cool to you, you're going to love this novel. So again, this is by Yoon Ha Lee, Machineries of Empire, Book 1, Ninefox Gambit. I can't wait to read the other two, and I will let you know what they are like. So 2 thumbs up on this one. On to the review of So I'm a Spider, So What? This is an isekai anime. That means that somebody is traveling to another world to live in that world. Sometimes they're able to come back and forth. Sometimes they're just permanently put there through a computer sim, or they die and they reincarnate. This happens to be the die and reincarnate kind of isekai. So you're treated to, at the beginning of the episode, to a classroom and a kind of overall view of the classroom. The teacher comes in and a thing happens. We don't know what that thing is, but it happens and it kills everybody. So then the spider, cute little spider, wakes up, hatches, comes birth, looks around, and realizes that she has been reincarnated as a spider. And there are millions of other spider eggs around her, and her brothers and sisters are cracking open and eating each other, and she's not having any of it. She's trying to escape. The big monster daddy or mommy is trying to eat her, and so you get the idea from minute one, it's go, go, go. So that's kind of this anime. This anime moves very, very quickly. One of the things you're going to enjoy about this anime is that the main character who reincarnates as a spider, she spends all of 5 minutes trying to figure out the isekai and deciding, this is a game isekai, and here I am, and I just accept my fate, and I'm a spider now. So I'm going to live like a spider in this dungeon. Unlike other isekai movies or shows where it takes them about 3/4 of the first episode to about 2 episodes of the main character accepting his or her fate. In this one, she takes all of 5 minutes and she starts doing the spider thing. She treats it as a game, so the isekai treats her as if she's in a game. So when she levels up, it tells her that she levels up, gets points, is able to get abilities, and all this, that, and the other thing. And it's really kind of funny because she thinks that because she's a gamer, she appears to have been a loner gamer geek in her previous life. She feels that she can navigate this, and so she, at first chooses a bad skill where she kind of goes, appraisal, I'll be able to figure out this world down, then be able to move forward and rock it. And she goes, I'm looking at this wall must mean something. What is this? I'm going to use my appraisal skill. And the appraisal skill responds, it's a wall. Okay, I know it's a wall, but what is it? It's a wall. And then she comes to find out that she's going to have to do a little bit more. And she gets into it. So she makes a little spider home with spider webs and things like that, and it's all very cute. And then you cut away to a group of humans at a banquet, finely dressed, right? And what you come to realize is that these are some of the students that reincarnated into the same isekai world, and they've actually managed to find each other somehow. So one of the people who is reincarnated is the teacher, and she comes back as this little beautiful elf thing. Another one of the students comes back as like a cat avatar for one of the characters. One of the characters comes back from he was a guy in the original world. He comes back as a woman, and you get the idea. And so the girl, so you see them at this sumptuous feast, and they're trying to figure out what's going on, and they decide, they're going to unify and be a pact and move through the isekai world. Meanwhile, Spider Girl, by the way, she's not humanoid, she's a natural spider, cute looking spider. She's navigating her life in this new isekai. And so while they're eating these wonderful foods and living in comfort and stuff like that, she's battling a poisonous toad. So, and I have to say, this sequence of the poisonous toad is nonstop action, and it's actually, as cute as it is actually one of the better fight scenes I've seen in anime in a very long time. So that brings me to kind of the quality of this anime. So the story itself, it's isekai. It's nothing special. Girl reincarnates as a spider, but she's fine with it, and she moves on. Right? That's what it appears to be. But the actual animation itself is actually pretty good. There's some good usage of CGI animation with the 2D animation, which I really like. I think CGI can really enhance an anime. I just don't like the all CGI anime lately. It's just, the technology is not quite there. It will be, and I'll be loving it. But until that point, I'm not liking it so much. But when you can use it well, when you can configure it with 2D animation, it works pretty well. It can make something really beautiful, and it can make things very smooth and flawless. And so the animation of this particular anime is really, I'm really enjoying it. I'm liking it. Like I said, it's cute. You don't have to think too hard about it. My feeling is that as the series goes on, there's going to be a big reveal. I think I know what that reveal is. If you've read the light novels or manga that this anime is based on, then you already know what I'm talking about. But I hazarded a guess, and I was right. I was going to pretend that I didn't know what it was, and I was just going to guess, but I figured it out. Anyway, but it's a very interesting reveal. A lesson will be learned. There'll be some sad, dark moments, but overall, this is a comedy action. So if you want something lighthearted, you don't want to think about it, but you also want to see something that looks good, watch this anime. So I'm a spider. So I'm a spider now. So what? It's on Crunchyroll. I think we're about 3 or 4 episodes in, and like I said, if you want something light, action, looks good, and has a really good intro and outro section of bits to it, watch this anime. You're really going to enjoy it. Okay, so that's it for this week. Next week, sometime between Tuesday and Thursday, I will have the next episode up for it. I think we're going to do Sword and Sorcery. So we'll see. I'm not 100% certain, but I think that's what's going to happen. And again, I hope you guys like the new format coming up. And if you like this video, hit the like button. If you want to subscribe, please subscribe and hit the bell so that way you can get future notifications. And as always, please join us over at Geek Archaeology. The link will be down below. Every Saturday around 8 o'clock, and we're going to discuss anime and anime news. We got a good, nice little chat function there, so please join in and say hi. We would love to have you there. So yeah. Remember, COVID-19 is still a thing. We have vaccines out there, and the rollout, and pretty soon, hopefully, this will be all behind us. But for the time being, you still have to social distance, wear a mask, because someday we'll go back to having conventions, in-person conventions, and I would love to meet one of you guys. So, yeah, stay safe. Love you guys, and I will see you next time.